All right, everybody, this is the next episode of How to Be a Texan. This is Kyle, and we got Kevin across the table.
Hey, how y'all doing?
How you doing? So we're going to talk about how to translate Texan. One thing I've noticed, Kevin, and I'll get into it in just a bit, but it's how we smush a bunch of words together.
It's about efficiency.
I think so.
It is about efficiency.
It's energy consumption, right?
Yep, it is.
Okay, well, let's get started. So I wanted to just open up with an observation, and again, you and I travel for work, me in healthcare and you in the technology services business. I think I've gone to a little bit more colorful places than you around the country. And some of the observations I've had that Texan is its own, dialect, but my absolute favorite in the country is South Louisiana. By far, it's my favorite. But if you go to Minnesota, it's very different. Michigan's very different. And no offense, Michigan and Minnesota friends, it's a little more nasally, and there's a factor in there. But and then you go to New York or New Jersey, and it's a faster pace, but you clearly hear a different accent. And then once you get to Boston, they just lose the G altogether.
And the R.
And they
Instead
are,
of car, it's ka.
Ka or
Park the ka.
Yeah.
There's a good article that it's called "Do You Speak Texan?" and it was published by the University of Texas at Austin. And there's actually a professor down there. His name's Lars Hinrichs, and he does research on language, linguistics, and has done a lot of research into actually Texas language and how people in Texas talk and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But one thing I kind of found cool about the article was it kind of explores several different aspects that I think tie into kind of your regional discussion here. One was, does the Texas twang, and you could apply this to even, your Louisiana or anybody in the South, right? But does having a twang or a Southern accent kind of indicate a lack of education? Mm-hmm. Was one of the things that he kind of explored in his research. And,
right.
I was just kind of curious what your thoughts are on that. I know you and I both have, master's degrees and, have
yes,
done relatively well, but I'd be the first one when I'm back with, the folks, the
slide
accent.
Right back into it.
Exactly.
It's one of those Matthew McConaughey things, one of his movies. He's like, I can just slide right back into it.
So I don't think it's necessarily a sign of a lack of education, quite honestly.
No, it's one of these cultural phenomena.
But what he found in his research is that people, especially in the South, and he did some studies in Texas, right? So he was down in Austin, obviously. So he actually spent time in a couple of different retail environments just observing actually millennials and kind of how they interact. And one was coffee shop down there. And he watched the baristas. And he said the baristas that were native Texans would tend to turn on and off their accent as they worked.
I'll be.
And they would say things like, thank you kindly.
Okay.
Maybe an older gentleman would come in and they would kind of slip into a little more Southern drawl because they could use it to come across as being more friendly. Right? Because people perceive the South and that kind of twang as being friendly. So what is the Texas twang?
To
How
me,
would you describe it?
So to me is...
And then I'll tell you what this professor says.
Oh, good.
In his research.
Good, I'm sure. He'll have, and I was thinking about that. I'm sure there's been a lot of study on the dialects itself and, the diphthongs and all this other stuff that you'll get into that it reminds me of 12th grade English with Miss Simpson. But regardless, what I notice is a bunch of words that are said inappropriately that we've just junked up. And then you smash a lot of words together.
I think it's highly appropriate.
I guess, but reckon, what is reckon?
Reckon?
Or reckoning, So, who knows?
We're going to get into that. Holler at me.
Yes, right.
First time I use that, because there's I guess there's a term that's used up in the Northeast, holla, with an A.
Right.
First time I used the term holler in a business situation, the guy was like, oh, man, we say that? Holla at me. I'm like, no, it's different. It's holler.
Yeah. No, like down in the holler? Like I'm going to...
No, holla. Holla is kind of a term, and it shows up in hip-hop music and stuff like that. It has the same meaning.
Yeah, I don't listen to hip-hop.
I don't either.
Yeah, okay.
Just you listen to Tim McGraw.
Those flat brimmed hats, I can't even do that. I'm an old baseball player, so it's got to be kind of slightly rounded. The hip hop, every time I think of that, it's this flat brim hat. It looks so stupid.
First thing I do when I get a cap is take all the stickers off and bend the crap out of the brim.
You don't like fold it down the center, do you?
No, but I bend it.
Oh, well,
As opposed to the flat with the stickers and the price tag hanging off and all that.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. No, the price tag, that's a hip-hop thing.
Yeah.
Pants hanging down past your bow hiney.
Yeah. Well, sometimes that just happens.
That's why we're a belt now.
Okay, so back to the twang.
Yeah,
so
are you going to talk about the diphthongs?
I'll you just like saying thong, don't you?
Yeah.
Now, what he said, it does have to do with the diphthong and the monophthong is what he says, right? So diphthong is when you take a vowel and you add 2 syllables to it.
Yeah, and you should spell that for our listeners.
Monophthong, they can Google it.
M-O-N-O, and there's a P-H.
P-H-T-O-N-G.
Yeah.
Monophthong.
Never heard of it.
That's basically a single syllable vowel, right? So if you take the word pie.
Pie?
Pumpkin pie.
Okay, just checking.
Now, how would you say pie?
I would say pie.
Right. So that's the northern way to say it.
Because I'm over enunciating it for this.
Well, you're taking the IE and you're making it 2 syllables. So that's a diphthong.
Okay.
The traditional kind of Texas way would be pie.
Pie. Like
1 syllable on that IE.
All right.
Night. Instead of night, like good night. Good night.
Right.
Good night.
Man, I don't even know what you're saying. All right.
And then we use diphthongs when they should not be diphthongs.
Yeah, is that the yada?
Huh? No, like cat instead of cat. Cat. Face.
Who says that?
Now, this is just what this guy found in his research of Texas dialect.
Cain't?
How many cats do you have?
I got too many right now. We got that little kitten over there. Boy, it sure is cute.
Wipe that smile off your face.
So stupid.
So, yeah, I've never really talked that, but this is what this guy says he's found.
That's like a cute girl kind of way to speak.
Maybe it is.
Cute face.
Maybe it is more of a female thing.
Well, they don't say that to me, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. Cat.
I say cat.
You got a bobcat? I don't say it that way either.
I've never heard you say that.
But anyway, the bottom line is his thesis is that, we use when it should be multiple syllables, we turn it into 1. When it should be 1, we turn it into 2.
Right.
And the kind of the combination of all that crap ends up being the Texas twang. So
fair enough.
And then the next one was, are Texans losing their twang? And I think we talked about that already a little bit.
Yeah,
being able to turn it on and off as needed based on social situations.
Yeah, but I'd be curious about the generations. If you and I are in the middle, and we got the old timers who we love listening to because they are as Texas as they get, but then our kids sound just like us, right?
One of the most disappointing things raising my children was one day, and I talked on a previous episode about how our neighbors over in Flower Mound during their formative years were from all different places. Right. One day, one of my children asked for a pop to drink.
That is kind of Texas blasphemy right there.
It is.
Texas pop,
I was like, what are you talking about?
A pop in the butt?
That was was it?
I'll give you a pop in the butt.
I don't know, Andrew. It might have been. It was either you or Aaron.
I think it might have been Aaron.
Oh, he asked for a Coke.
Yeah, I was like, well, it's called a Coke. And like, well, no, a Coke is a certain. I'm like, no, they're all Cokes.
Unless it's like a sody pop. That's old timey.
No, that's not Texas.
No, I don't know.
It was always a Coke.
Nuclear power plants.
Oh, nuclear. Yeah, there's W.
Now that's a good one.
No, that's legit. When you hear W say nuclear, that's legit. He means it.
Search for Jimmy Ferris from Spur, Texas. And this guy tells a story. It's one of the funniest videos I've ever seen. He tells a story about, back in the day, he had a...
And I'm glad you cut it off at the end. He cusses like a sailor at the end.
Oh, he does, yeah. But a friend of a friend asks for some dynamite, so he gives him some dynamite, and they end up blowing up a septic system, and it just blows crap all over the neighborhood and all inside the house because it blows up out of the sink, it blows the toilet off, and halfway down the hall, and the police get involved and all this stuff. So anyway, watch the whole thing because the story is funny. But
let's give it a listen. This guy's funny.
What I would like to do is rather than listen to the whole thing is. Maybe listen to a couple of selected clips where he's using some phrases that I think we can, talk about. So anyway, this is Jimmy Ferris.
He's got this big old long pole, and he gets all this dynamite, and he bundles it up down on the end of that and gets some baling wire. And I said, wait a minute, you can't do that.
So baling wire.
Yeah, so I heard kind of 3 Texas-isms in that. Big ol'.
Yeah.
How would you define big ol'?
Well, that's it's something big, but you want
I got a big old truck out there.
Yeah, you just want to give it some emphasis, like it's got a little bit. It's a little larger than life.
It's huge,
right?
Yeah, but it's like decently. Yeah, but it's not old.
It's not gargantuan, but it's big. But it's got character to it. So big old.
But it's not old. So old is just kind of thrown in there.
I guess
big old.
I guess
big old truck out there.
All right. I just like the barbed wire.
Yeah. Well, he said baling wire.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So wire, W-A-I-R.
Sounds like W-A-R, war.
Wire.
Yeah.
But then there's barbed wire too, which growing up, that's literally what I called barbed wire.
That's what I called it too. B-O-B, barbed wire.
Yeah, I didn't really even know how to spell it.
Yeah, there's an
until I went to school and we're like, wait, what's the R in this? Barbed wire. Yeah. You're telling me barbed wire is spelled B-A-R-B-W-I-R-E? That don't make no sense.
Well, I just enjoy hearing this guy because this guy doesn't give a flip about his accent, and matter of fact, he's kind of hamming it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And the other one he uses at the end is cain't.
Cain't, yeah.
Wait a minute, you can't do that. Instead of can't, cain't.
Yeah.
Cain't.
Yeah.
I remember using that one a lot.
And it was raining down everywhere.
Did you hear that one?
It's raining down everywhere.
Everywhere. This is at the point of the story after they've blown up the septic, and he's talking about
the crap coming down,
raining down everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah.
Put a cap in it, tie it on there, and stick it down in there, and set that off.
Put a cap in it, tie it on there, stick it down in there.
So I told him to go on, and so he wound up. He put all these sticks on that damn pole, and he wired it with baling wire. Me and old Bill, my buddy, we stood there and watched him.
See, you need subtitles for that entire exchange. I mean,
really?
I've lived here my whole life, and I barely understood anything he said.
Are you kidding?
No, I'm not kidding.
All right, listen again. Listen close.
So I told him to go on, and so he wound up. He put all these sticks on that damn pole, and he wired it with baling wire. Me and old Bill, my buddy, we stood there and watched him.
Okay, I got maybe half of it.
He wound up putting all them sticks on that pole. Him and his buddy, Bill, stood there and watched it.
Yeah.
So they're putting these dynamite sticks on the end of this long pole, and they're going to shove it down into the bottom of the septic system.
Right.
To try to crack the bottom so that the liquid would leak into the soil so he wouldn't have to pump it anymore. Gosh. But wound up is the one that stood out to me. Did you ever say that? Wound up?
Oh, yeah. I still say that.
Instead of ended up?
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. I still say that.
Yeah, no, we wound up getting lost while we were going to the football game.
You did? Well, that's a shame.
So anyway, those are some selected highlights from Jimmy Ferris, Spur, Texas. I don't know when that was recorded.
About 100 years ago.
I don't know. And there's several different, it's all over. If you search for that, you'll find it. Several different people have posted it on YouTube. So I don't know where it came from. I tried to look him up, Wikipedia, see if he was a famous comedian or something, but I can't find anything.
He's no famous comedian.
He could have been.
I'm telling you, that dude's got a potty mouth right there. And my dad used to do that. When he'd get around his buddies, he'd kind of potty mouth it up a little bit. On the way home, I'd be like, Dad, why are you all using that, I don't know. What's that? Look at that bird. Count those cars on that train. You know, he'd say something like that. Get me distracted.
So another one I found was apparently the County Line barbecue restaurant down in Austin has audio that they play in the bathroom, which is just a...
This is my favorite because I like the lady saying it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you got any of that, but the lady says it in normal English.
I didn't get that because I was hoping you could translate some of this stuff.
Well, I can because she's got one, and I don't know if you have it or not, but she's like, the number between 49 and 51.
50.
50.
50.
Yeah. Or the number between 6 and 8.
7.
7.
Yeah.
That's so great.
Well, here's one. It's this old dude. I don't know, but here's one from that County Line thing.
Backerds. Grandma was so drunk she was walking backwards.
Backerds.
Grandma. Well, how would Grandma be that drunk?
I don't know. Grandma had a rough life back then. She
Got run over by a reindeer or something and had to go backwards.
was walking, so she was drunk. She was walking backwards. So that obviously means backwards.
I don't say backwards.
Backwards.
I don't say that.
Well, maybe you should.
I don't think so.
Cut on.
No.
Cut on the oven so we can cut some biscuits.
Biscuits.
Cut on. He's saying that means turn on.
Yeah.
Now, I never used it for turn on, but
No, but
turn off I did. Cut off. Go cut off the air conditioner. You're wasting our electricity. Yeah.
Today in 2018.
No. I was saying growing up, I heard that a lot. Never cut on, but cut off I heard a lot.
I will tell you, I do like biscuits.
Cut on the oven so we can bake some biscuits.
Yeah.
Directly. Mama said to come home directly after school.
Yeah. Now
Directly.
I'm telling you, if you go out to West Texas today and you ask somebody to say that word, they'll say it exactly like that.
I know.
Now, East Texas, I don't think so. But West Texas, I guarantee you go to Amarillo and you say directly, they'll be like,
Directly means soon or immediately or fast or...
Right.
Yeah, just directly.
Yeah.
Now, did you ever say this one?
Fair to Midland.
Oh, yeah.
I'm feeling just about fair to Midland.
No, I still say that.
Yeah, fair to Midland.
I have no idea why. I'm not going to Midland. I've been there. I like Midland.
But
I
it
don't
just
know.
means like you're doing just fine.
Well,
you're
once you
not
get-
good. You're not doing great. You're not doing bad. You're just kind of fair.
No,
And then just to Midland.
I get that. I get that.
Isn't it? That's some good supper, isn't it?
So I do say that. But then the question is supper.
Now,
If somebody asks you to come to supper, what time would you show up?
4?
Or 12?
No, supper was never at noon.
So you call supper dinner or dinner lunch?
Dinner used to be lunch. So when I was growing up, we had breakfast, dinner, and supper.
Huh.
Those were the 3 meals. Did you call lunch lunch or did you call lunch dinner?
Well, we just called it lunch.
Yeah.
We didn't call it dinner.
I started out calling dinner and then I had a transformation at some point.
Another. I sure am thirsty. I believe I'll have another.
Nuthern. Nuthern.
So it's another
one. but
Another
just
one.
Nuthern.
All right.
Plum.
What?
I've plumb had it with that old rascal.
Oh no, I do like that.
I've plumb had it.
I don't know about
That just
rascal.
means exactly or absolute or,
Yeah.
I'm plumb done with this
full-
podcast.
I'm full of.
Our listeners are plumb done with us at this
I'd
point in
say
this
so.
episode.
It's going backwards.
I reckon it's about supper time.
Yeah.
I
Again,
reckon it's about supper
So-
time. I
so-
reckon I'll have another.
Even though you say we don't say howdy all the time, now Big Tex, now he still says howdy.
Well,
And, you know, there's something funny
but
about Big
that's
Tex.
because he's like a cartoon version of a Texan.
I know it, but I think I've always kind of creeped out.
Howdy, folks. Welcome to the
No,
State Fair.
I think he's good. No, he doesn't say it that way. I've always thought he's kind of stroking out there in the middle of his sentence. He's like, "Howdy, folks. Welcome to the State Fair, Texas."
Does he still do that?
Yeah, he kind of pauses in there like he's having a little mini stroke.
Anyway, so howdy and y'all. I mean, those are kind of, everybody talks about that. So I thought we would drill a little
Yeah.
be a little more nuanced with our analysis.
I know, but
here,
we blew right past the howdy part.
We did.
And the howdy is, I don't see that. I see the y'all all the time.
Y'all all the time. Y'all
Yeah.
is, I think, even becoming an American standard.
Americana. If it's in Webster's.
America.
Yeah.
But yeah, howdy, that's old school.
Right.
That's old school.
Right. So, but reckon, I do say that. So.
Oh, yeah. All right, I reckon we'll get moving here.
Tump. Mama got aggravated when I tumped that bowl over.
Tumped.
I love that word.
That's another one growing up. I guess it's a combination of tip and dump. Tump.
I guess, but it's I think that's my favorite Texas word, tump.
Tump.
Because
Tump.
nobody really understands it.
Well, I expect that some folks do.
Well, I know I do.
So, Spect, I have a suspicion or I suspect, right?
Spect. I
Yeah.
expect it's going to rain later on.
I expect
Yeah.
it's going to rain later on.
That's old school. Nobody says that anymore.
Now, this next one, somebody actually wrote this word and this spelling on my Facebook page one time.
Scared. I ain't scared.
I saw that water moccasin and I got scared.
Scared. Well, if you hear the way, if you listen to him, he's doing that double instead of
The diphthong?
yeah, instead of it being a monophthong, he's doing a diphthong, right? So listen to that. Instead of scared, it's
Scared.
scared.
I ain't scared.
Scared.
Like you got a pretty face.
Scared. Purdy. Purdy's a good one. P-U-R-D-Y.
Yeah.
Pretty. What about tinkle? Did you ever
Lord,
use the
why
term
are-
tinkle?
Why are we talking about going to the bathroom? You got to go to the bathroom? We can take a little break. No, that is, I got to say that's a girl thing.
Tinkle?
Or a kid thing.
Yeah, I think so too. That's a
I'd tell
kid
my
thing.
kids to go tinkle or whatever. And then I had those twins and they'd cross streams and all that. Oh my gosh. That was awful.
Andrew and Aaron used to do that.
Oh yeah.
Cross streams and then end up getting pee on each wall and none in the toilet.
Oh, that's not good. At least my guys would go outside. I'd say, guys, go outside and drop your doors and whatever. And then they'd just laugh and muck it up and cross streams.
So I made the mistake of teaching Aaron early on to do that.
Oh,
Just, if you got to go and we're outside, just go.
Right. That's
Two situations where he did it completely inappropriately. One was at Andrew's 4th birthday party. Kendra, which birthday party was it that this happened? I think it was Andrew's 4th. You've been to our place in Flower Mound.
Yeah.
We had that big thing
yeah.
back on the bike trail. We had all of the neighbors over, all friends out there.
right.
So Andrew was like 4, Aaron was 2. No, it might have been Andrew's 5th. It's probably more the 5th and Aaron's 3. And we're back there, backyard full of people, jump house, all this stuff. Look, and Aaron's right in the center and just drops his drawers and just starts. And it's not just, he's trying to see how far he can go.
Oh. I see. I'm accommodating. to
Kendra
that.
was
If he's-
mortified.
If you got to go, you got to
You got to go, but, we had quite a few neighbors back there. The other one was, first time we took them to the beach was in Destin, Florida. And I remember the conversation with Aaron. He's like, Dad, what if I got to go to the bathroom while we're out on the beach? I said, we'll just go in the ocean. Same thing. His idea of going in the ocean was standing on the side. And he dropped to the ground. And he was probably, 4 maybe. 3, 4. And just, he had this big arc of pee right out over
as opposed
over
to
the
get
brick.
in the water, so nobody
Yeah.
sees all your stuff.
So he had to tinkle. So we kind of went through some vocabulary there. Now, what about phrases?
Yeah,
What about phrases?
I think some of them are funny, but you wouldn't have a clue. Just like fair to Midland, I think that's one of those phrases that I still don't have any idea what the origin is of it. But some of these are good.
My dad used to say one all the time. He'd say, nervous as a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs. Mm-hmm. What about pitching a hissy fit?
Well, I've seen people do this. I even see people now at work do that kind of thing. It's just so silly, pitching a hissy fit. Now, see, they do.
They do it, but they don't use that phrase, do they?
Well, I do. I'm like, you're pitching a hissy fit. It's ridiculous. Or next, I'm going to tan your hide.
Tan your hide.
Yeah, now I would never say that. I'd get sent to HR, and I don't want to do that. So nobody's going to tan anybody's hide.
Well, if
That means tan your hide means I'm going to spank you.
Yep.
That's what that means.
Yep, I used to hear that a lot growing up.
Oh my gosh,
I got
did
my
too.
hide tan quite a bit
I got it tan some.
growing up.
Yeah. By the belt.
Oh, yeah.
That wasn't good. I would get in trouble, and my mother, and when it was bad, she would send me to my room and say, "You wait till your daddy gets home," and then he would come in. Of course, he didn't know anything. And now that I'm a dad, I'm an old fart dad. I come home and I get that too. You know, oh, they're really in trouble when I get there. I'm tired from work and all this other drama that I have to deal with throughout life. I don't want to come home and like engage immediately and be in the anyway.
Yeah.
But Dad had to do that, and he'd grab a belt and I hate to do this, boy, but bend over, you know, that kind of thing.
I got in a fight at school. I think it was 7th grade. I got in a fight in the cafeteria. It was with a friend of mine, actually.
Oh,
Well, both of my parents were working. This was before the days of cell phones and before the days where schools really gave a crap. They were just
Right.
like, get out of here and go home. You know, they had to figure it out. So anyway, I ended up calling a neighbor. Neighbor picks me up, brings me home. I didn't want to call my parents. So anyway, my mom gets home a couple hours before my dad, and she's like, why are you home? You should be at school. And I told her the whole thing, and she gave me that. Well, you just wait till your dad gets home.
yeah.
You just wait.
That's a bad feeling.
You just wait. So anyway, I sat in there for a couple hours, just, you know.
I remember
I was
that
nervous
feeling.
as a long-tailed cat in a room full of
Yes.
rocking chairs. And
You
so,
must have been more self-aware than the cat,
I
so I
was.
said, but that's a bad feeling.
so my dad finally gets home. I mean, I hear the car door shut. I'm, you know,
Oh,
crapping
yeah?
in my pants. And, you know, Dad walks in the room. He's like, Mom said you got in a fight. I said, yeah. He said, did you win? I said, yeah. And he said, okay. And then he just left.
See, I believe that's probably the way I'd approach it nowadays.
What about full as a tick? You ever use that one?
Yeah, but it creeps me out. I hate ticks so bad. But yeah, no. I still hear that a lot, and I don't think I use it just because I hate ticks.
All right. What about this one? He just fell off the turnip truck.
Yeah.
Did you ever use that one?
No, but I
didn't
heard
really
it a
either.
lot, and I think I was described. Described that way quite a bit. Especially my dad would say that. In other words, he implied my unsophistication.
That boy just fell off the turnip truck.
Yeah, he ain't quite.
Unsophisticated.
He ain't quite right.
What about slow as molasses?
Yeah. I still use that.
What about don't have a pot to pee in?
No, never carried a pot around. So
You never heard that expression?
Well, yeah.
That just meant somebody was poor.
Just
Some
dirt
people's
poor.
dirt poor. They don't.
Yeah.
They don't even have a pot to pee in.
No, you don't hear that anymore.
No. What about sweating like a pig?
Oh yeah, I still use that. Well, in Texas, it's stinking hot down here all the time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now I do say this: I don't trust you any further than I can throw you.
Yeah, I'd do that one.
There's
too.
a lot of people I think that about, but and I whether I articulate that or not, but I don't trust you any further than I can throw you. I still say that.
Ain't my first rodeo. I
Oh
throw
my
that one in
gosh.
quite a bit.
I hear that in business and it drives me crazy. I had this old timey hospital CEO and I was going in to help him do something. He's like, boy, first of all, I was 40 something. Boy, this ain't my first rodeo. I'm like, and it was. It was the
did
first
you-
time he'd ever done something like that. We were smashing these hospitals together and I'd been doing it. Anyway,
Did you follow up with the next one on the list here? Well, but you're uglier than sin.
I could have. He's not an attractive man.
Uglier than sin. What does
Yeah.
that mean?
That doesn't mean anything real, but you hear it.
Well, sin is probably the ugly. I mean, if you're uglier than sin,
Yeah, if we got theological on it, sin is,
pretty ugly.
yeah, it's a bad deal there.
Now, this one, as all get out,
Yeah, I still say that.
I do too.
Yeah.
That can be added to any phrase.
As all get out. But
Just,
who even, as all get out? So if you're from New York and you're listening to this, what in the world does that even mean? And so, and give me an example. Can you think of an example as all get out?
Yeah, I mean, that I'm hungry as all get out.
Yeah.
You can just add it on just as a
It's
way
a
of
generic term like
making
dude.
it like extreme, or
Okay.
I'm extremely hungry. I'm hungry as all get out.
I'm kicking it to the next level.
Yeah, you're stupid as all get out. You're dumber than
Yeah.
a box of rocks.
Yeah.
Stupid as all get out.
So see, that's a conversation right there.
But
We
I can't expand that as a conversation.
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm saying you could use all these generic Texas terms and never, the content of it is actually pretty limited.
Yeah, but I can't explain. I haven't researched that one enough to even know where that comes from.
As all get
out.
Yeah, no, that one is really popular still. Now, the next one I like is bark is bigger than its bite.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think we still hear that, but I don't even know if that's a Texas thing. I think we can hear that across the South.
That's true. Yeah. Well, I think that's true for a lot of these.
I heard it in South Louisiana. It was just said in a different dialect, and I needed subtitles.
Bark is bigger than his bite, all hat, no cattle, and too big for his britches. Those all kind of fall into a category of describing someone as being
cocky, son of a gun.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Now this one is true. If you don't like the weather, wait 10 minutes. That's pretty true. That's one of the weird dynamics. At some point, we'll talk about Texas weather, but it is dynamic and changing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This last one I used a lot.
I still use
growing
it.
up.
I still use it.
Do what?
Do what?
Do what?
Yeah.
Do what?
Yeah. Now my Cajun friends they use the who dat. we use the do what and they use the who dat.
Who dat?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good one. Who dat? Do what?
Yeah.
Do what?
I still use that.
So there you go. Right. So that's a good primer on speaking Texas. All the terminology to get you started, and then a bunch of canned phrases that you can string together.
Yeah, if you're gonna come live here, you probably need to listen to this about 10 times because to translate the Texas language, you need to understand some of the tan your hide and dumber the box of rocks and slow as molasses.
Do what?
You ought to go, meet my buddy down at the Texaco,
Have a Coke.
Belle Noir. All that stuff. That's just Texas slang. So hey, thanks for listening today. We appreciate you hearing us out on how to translate the Texas language and some of these fun phrases and words that we use, and some of them we don't use anymore. But boy, they are a fun part of the Texas history. So again, thanks for listening. Please subscribe to our podcast and give us some reviews. And so we'll see y'all soon.
All right. Adios. I'm thirsty. I want a Nuthern.